Hello, everybody. Welcome to commentary of in-person Warlord games. Chris Nirvana Tool here, and I was lucky enough to record a whole bunch of games at the Garden State Open, one that we held here in New Jersey on November 19th, 2002. And I am bringing you some round one action here. On the left, we have AJ Foster running Adarymy, representing the Free Kingdoms. On the left, we have Graham Moyer running Ginerva of the Moon, representing the Deveranians. So this is a aggressive matchup versus a control matchup. So it's gonna be can I go fast enough to break through your stuff? So we already see a few. These guys are moving fast, so this is something I gotta kind of get used to when making commentary on in-person games. They are 45-minute rounds, so people tend to move quicker, and it's a lot easier than some of the online games you may have seen me, just play online on any of my other streams. So what we have here is, let's actually talk about the warlords themselves first, while they're kind of playing out these few actions, and then we'll get to it. So first, we have Graham's warlord. Ginerva of the Moon is a cleric seer, and has those D20s on it right now, and that's what this ability kind of here talks to. It's you roll two of them in the beginning of the turn, and then at any point during the turn, you can react to replace one of those die roll results with a strike roll, and it's been errated to say specifically strike, so just remember that. On the other hand, we got Adarymy. I think a lot of people kind of know this. It's a very beginner-friendly warlord, but still one of the best out there. She boosts level 1s to have +2 attack and AC, and she can, once per turn, search for a non-monster level 1, put it in. And Free Kingdoms happen to have the best level 1s. So there's a few key cards that really kind of come into play with this matchup, and we saw a few of them in the beginning. I think first action from Ginerva of the Moon was to just put in a figurine of protection, which, that one isn't really too consequential, I would say. But what we saw was, after the figurine came into play, the first action from Adarymy was to play Winter Warfare. This is one of the more popular cards currently in the meta. What this does is it punishes decks like Graham that like to play high-level characters. Spend order until end of turn. Characters may not move unless maneuvering or falling forward, but the whole point is, as those big guys are falling forward to the front rank, they're taking wounds, they're stunning. It can absolutely cripple a army that focuses on playing level 4 or higher characters, and that's exactly what Graham has. However, Graham was fortunate enough to have himself the answer to that, because Ginerva of the Moon is a seer. So there is a very key, some Magic players might call it the counterspell, but they have Premonition. This is, just before an opponent plays an action, they can't play it until the end of the turn. Simple as that. If you have one card in hand, one copy of it, usually it's not bad. If it's a spend order, you usually just kind of shut it down. But this is kind of the best. If there's any kind of counter magic, if you will, in Warlord, it's this. So that is kind of what we saw in this very quick exchange in the beginning. So Ginerva of the Moon, their whole strategy is just to kind of, let's control the board, let's get out big beefy characters, and he has a few other tricks that we may see here. He has a figurine of protection, which is a item that becomes a character, so it's a level 4 cleric itself, move back to rank 4. And then we also see him playing Mass Blessing, one of the key things. His starting army is with Dilchant Keepers, who they work on canceling melee strikes, and then Justinian affects die rolls. So a lot of die manipulation in the Deveranian faction. On the Free Kingdom side, we see Lear Militia, who is a level 1 that, he kind of just stands there until he dies, at which point he goes and finds a different level 1 in the deck, and then shuffles himself back in. So Adarymy always kind of has an option for level 1, but the idea with this is to play a bunch of multi-striking level 1 characters and put pressure on the ranks. So Graham's got some pretty good defense here with Mass Blessing. So he's making those Dilchant Keepers a lot harder to kill, in addition to already have been really hard to kill. And AJ is really just kind of playing level 1s right now. So we still don't get a Brother and a Spencer, who are the key to Pretty much any kind of Free Kingdom deck. Brother Domini likes to boost up any of the Free Kingdoms in the... Oh, actually, no, it's actually any character in the rank. I can kind of show that one here on screen on the left side. Brother Domini, well, there's one or more of him, and he's in the same rank as a fighter, which a lot of these good level 1s are fighters. Brother Domini gets turned on. So that's what we have going on here. So the idea is to kind of play Brother, make these bonuses even bigger. His level 2 Auroch Knights let him put in characters with more bonuses. And that's really what it is. It's how big can I get as many little strikes? Like, these little strikes just make them more meaningful when they're like +7s, +8s, +9s. So that's kind of the deal here. And Lear Militia is really set to make sure that Adaryme's ranks don't crumble. So right here, we're seeing towards the end of turn 1, and we've seen some pretty ideal things from Graham. He's been able to last the onslaught of Adarymy so far. The Winter Warfare was key. But on top of that, he's got some decent characters. He tapped the figurine back and was able to get in play one of his win conditions, which is... this, let me see if I can get him up here on the screen for you guys. I like this little feature now. Look at that. We got Davinus, who basically chooses any character in play, and then they do a roll-off with skill. Whoever loses that roll-off gets stunned, and that's basically what this is. So Davinus is an ultimate control card. When backed by all of this die manipulation, all of this strike manipulation, this really just slows down the opponent. And we see another thing that Graham's trying to slow down the opponent with, which is Reflect. It basically heals a wound and then puts you on the offense, where you wound the attacker unless they make an insanely high DC check. So Graham's offense is the best defense. That's basically what we're seeing here. And when you have a bunch of little strikes coming from Adarymy, that's what's going to happen. So Adarymy has been stunned by Davinus, and then we're seeing a Hero's Gambit come from a Lear Militia. This Lear Militia looks like he's wounded because he has a bonus HP from the Fine-Hilted Saber, so he's on his way out anyway, so he's basically going to try and take somebody out with him. Basically, AJ getting some value out of his card before it goes to the discard pile. But that's about it. So turn 1, AJ has one card left in his hand, which is the Winter Warfare, which he cannot play this turn because he's stunned thanks to Davinus. So really ideal turn 1 for Graham. He's got, he's got enough characters. He drew a Mass Blessing to protect the rank. He drew a Reflect to protect the ranks, and he's going to keep these rolls going here. I can't really tell. It looks like a 20 and an 18, and that's kind of not ideal. Usually with Graham, he's looking for low numbers so that he can make sure that your strikes miss. He doesn't really care necessarily about his strikes hitting. He just wants to kind of hold off because he'll eventually get to it. Luckily, Ginerva of the Moon has been errated, as I mentioned earlier, to only work on strikes, because otherwise, if you can manipulate that die with the Davinus, that would be iffy. So we see Graham play Corrin Drac, who reacts as soon as she enters play and gives Graham basically another go at the cards, and he chooses to spend forward Corrin Drac, who stuns to the front. She's got 3 HP, 15 AC, so she'll hold the ranks. AJ's going to try and take a free swing at him with Outmatch, but unfortunately he's low on bonuses right now, so that won't hit. AJ's just kind of really just trying to force forward here. There's not really a lot of finesse he can do. But Graham taking advantage of those high rolls on Ginerva is like, I'm going to swing with Dilchan Keeper. I'm going to kill that brother. But AJ's got healing. Final Blessing gives that brother Domini +1 HP until the end of turn. So, and AJ's kind of okay with that. He really just wants the bonuses here. He needs to make these. He doesn't have many strikes right now, so he's got to make them meaningful. So, and now they're attacking into Dilchan Keepers. These are big rolls here. So we see a 9, which is going to be 1 short. You need a 10 or better on the Dilchan Keepers, but luckily Justinians are there to boost the die roll by either boost it by 2 or reduce it by 2, depending on how you want to use it once per turn. So we see him cancel that first one. AJ's able to get a second strike through, but it rolls a 1 and lands right there in the middle of those 2 plate mats. That's rough. So right now, Graham's, again, continuing to do a super well job at holding off. So he's still mounting the offensive. He has that 20 there. So he's going to swing with the Diligent Keeper, miss, but then use the 20 to basically fight off 2 strikes. And that's really, it's a numbers game here. Can I reduce Adaryme's strikes down? Because those characters won't last long once he gets settled in. It might take him a while, but, he'll eventually get there. Now we see a interesting card that I want to pull up here on the screen just so everybody can see. Graham equipped an item called Litany of the Dead. It's a level 8 cleric item with no traits. As an order, you can discard it, and then you name a non-warlord character. Specifically, you can't turn off warlords. But characters of that name may not perform actions or enter play until the end of turn. So if you know your opponent's deck, Graham knows Adarymy very well. A lot of people have played it over the years. Maybe we're almost to the point of saying over the decades. Yes, actually we are. We could say decades because 20th anniversary of Adarymy came out probably like a year into the game. So he knows exactly what this deck is running, who's a problem. But he doesn't have to pop it right away. He can kind of wait and see. Like if there's a situation where, AJ's got 3 of one character in the play, like that's when you go Litany. Or he can wait for Adarymy to search for a level 1 and then name that character with Litany. Another thing we just saw Graham play was Prioress Sophique. As you guys can tell, I'm kind of just pulling these cards up right away. There's no pre-planned editing, so just if you see me pausing, that's why. But Prioress Sophique comes into play. It's another big cleric for Deveranians, and it has 2 abilities. The Daybreak ability acts as if she just casts Mass Blessing on the front rank. And the Nightfall ability, so if it's not turn 1, search your deck for any card and put it on top. So with a control deck, you just want consistency, and she absolutely supports that game plan. Adarymy dropping Leonara, who's a rogue with multi-striking after she uses an order, which we're going to see AJ do right here. And that triggers Graham to use the Litany of the Dead. Saying that, Leonara, you've done enough this turn by doing that order, so no dice. Then we see an interesting card, because a lot of times we have to kind of do this based off of like the card art. Luckily, I'm pretty well versed in what most of these cards are as soon as they hit the table. But okay, cool. I was able to get this up. I wasn't sure if I was able to pull this up with all the accent marks on this one, but my read is it's a 4E card, so it came out 4th edition. But really the key here is just she's a spend order to target a level 1 or 2, give them a bonus, and then ready them. So when you're playing multi-striking with cards like Rosalie, or you have Fine-Hilted Saber, or just Spencer Latham or Leonara, you're able to ready these characters and get more out of them. Unfortunately, it doesn't really work against devs who have Dominus, because we just saw that Brother Domini who had an extra strike. Graham was willing to use Dominus to stun that level 1. Again, Graham is still playing numbers. You're saying I don't have to deal with these 2 strikes. Brother Domini, who's wounded, is going to go away at the end of the turn thanks to Final Blessing wearing off. He goes, yeah, I'll do that. His roll wasn't high, though. It was a DC 13, but when you're level 1, Brother Domini's got a good skill at 3 for a level 1, and even then, that's a 10 up. So 55% chance to succeed. So 45% chance for Graham to avoid something, and so it's certainly significant and certainly possible. Graham also now, he's got the Sable Knight, a Deveranian hero, which gives him more initiative and gives him more tempo in terms of taking consecutive actions. And Taltos Relian as well, who lets him bounce some items and kind of get some more mileage out of that. Or if he puts an item on something else and wants to bring it back and put it on something else, he can kind of do that. Or what a lot of people don't realize about Taltos Relian is that it's a way to stop wizards who are going to play a Wand of Negation on you. So if Wand of Negation is, an item that order, spend it, target an item in play, it is now blank until the end of turn. Well, if you have a blanked item, use Taltos Reliant to bounce it, replay it, it's no longer blank. So that's what he's in there. And you know what? He's not bad at 3 HP. So that's also, it just kind of fits into Graham's scheme. Get more answers to problems in the meta while also maintaining a high HP count. We're starting to see AJ use his left side, which is unfortunately getting a little bit of glare. I line these things up just so we can avoid that, but I should have checked very far over there. Like Davidas, I can see is very shiny, but that's because he's a foil. We actually see the Queen of Lightning coming in here. So this is another one of Graham's win conditions. So I'm going to pull this one up just so we can kind of take a look at this. And this is one we busted Graham's chops saying it's an awful card. But in reality, we know he is kind of used. He can get a lot of mileage out of it. So Queen of Lightning, basically you stun her, and then she's doing +7 range strikes at any 3 characters. They're getting an AC bonus based off of what ranks they're in, but it doesn't matter what rank they're in. So from the 5th, she can just shoot Adarymy, put a wound on. She can shoot a problematic level 1, and then she could take out the Auroch Knight or Rosalie, or both, like we saw here. So this kind of puts a clock on it. Of course, she's stunned, but Graham's got some ways to unstun her that we may see at some point. And that's really her whole purpose of the deck. So very much supported by control and very powerful in this deck. So Davinas, I think he was targeting Adarymy there, and we see what happens. That's the chance you take with Davinas. Sometimes you yourself fail in stun. So Graham's got a stunned rank 4 and a stunned rank 5. And Ginerva the Moon equips the Staff of Kazazi, which gains charges to ready any character in play. So he could ready that Queen of Lightning, and now it speeds up his deck by a turn. Leonara continuing to kind of put pressure, but has a whole bunch of AC and HP in that front that it has to deal with. And we're seeing some charges from the Staff of Kazazi. AJ's going to keep the pressure on, and this is really what you got to do, kind of hope to break ranks, but it's a tall order. 8 HP in the front rank based off of, how many strikes does AJ really have and what his bonuses are at. He needs some good rolls here. And even if he gets some ideal rolls, Graham's got enough in the back to kind of sustain. So that's what we're looking at here. So we just saw an Alliance Standard in AJ's hand, which he kind of had time here. So I think AJ's making the mistake here by not playing cards in hand. And let me explain that a little bit by pulling up the Staff of Kazazi. So that way we can kind of see exactly where this error came into play. So Staff of Kazazi order: if an opponent has 1 or more cards in hand and Staff of Kazazi has less than 4 charges, put a charge on it. Order once per turn, spend the staff and remove 4 charges, ready target lower level character. So when you see this card kind of come out, you want to make sure, and it is a dangerous thing, you got to play all the cards from your hand. Because if he has no cards in his hand, then it's fine. AJ is looking at his hand right now, but he was taking strikes while this. So he was just conceding the fact that I'm going to let Staff of Kazazi come out. But that's an extra Queen of Lightning. That's an extra Davinas. That's an extra Corrin Drac, which I think we actually just saw him use it on, who's going to be 2 strikes in the front rank. Like, AJ had an Alliance Standard, had a character, and it looks like exhaustion. I guess maybe he's afraid that he can't play the exhaustion, but you can exhaust this Staff of Kazazi that's going to gain a charge, if anything, just to get it out of your hand. That's another control aspect, though, because a card like this, it's going to make you want to play these cards when you really don't want to. But he could have prevented these charges, AJ, if he really wanted to. Whether it'll matter in the end, that's up for debate. But AJ still has cards in his hand. He only has 1 character that can play or he has 2 characters that can play Exhaustion. His Warlord in that Lear Militia. Or the Kuhn Jakob in his hand that he's not going to put into play right now because Corrin Drac's just going to attack him. So he's cornered himself here. Lear Militia is boosted by the Alliance Standard, though. which is Charisma check, DC 20 to give them an attack, AC, and skill bonus equal to level. So that's good with the multi-striking for sure. But if AJ's just sitting here kind of passing, then Graham's going to take some free charges. Of course, you have to spend the staff in order to use it, so you're not going to keep getting ready characters, but you're going to have a fully charged staff next turn, and that's just going to help with some tempo. We see the Sableye stun to the front, already done his thing, and then we see Tauren Yeskar, one of the best cards ever printed. Discard a card, look at the top 5, pick any one of those, put them back in the same order. So he got rid of the Jock Tennis, which he doesn't need, and instead goes and finds him Peace. Now, Peace could be an absolute game winner in certain cases, and it's right here, it's just going to mitigate a lot of what AJ's doing. So that's Con Peace Hand. We have already had our first editorial gaffe. Look at that. Who would have thought that there was more than one card named Peace? There we go. Level 8 item. Auroch set item. Doesn't really matter because it is just an Auroch set, and it's really only going to spend itself. I think this is the only one he plays in his deck. Order, spend an equipped Auroch set item, and spend a character in your army. Target character with level equal to or lower than the one spent may not attack until the end of turn. So if he's got level 1s, Graham can use the Peace with his Justinian in rank 2, who's not doing anything, and just turn 1 off. You can spend Tauren, or if you want to shut off level 5 Warlords who are going to attack you, you got Dominus or Queen of Lightning who can do it, or Ginerva herself. But actually, it's got to be lower level, right? Yeah, lower level. Oh, equal to or lower. No, never mind. Yeah, 5s can get shut off. That can be a problem. So they are still going. We're about 20 plus minutes into this match. Again, they were 45-minute rounds, best of 3. I don't think we're going to see a full. We're not going to see a full 3 matches here. AJ's still kind of here. I mean, like Graham's really kind of set, and in a sense, he's really kind of got this game won already. But what we have is, just AJ still kind of feels comfortable with his board position. He's like, I think I have enough here that maybe I can make something happen. Like, he's got a fine Hilted Saber and Ryan Mornington trying to put some pressure on Corin Drek, and we see that. He takes it down. So AJ's like, hey, if my rolls go good, maybe I can shut this down. So Graham identifies that and goes, let me put down a Mass Blessing to boost my front rank by 5. So that's a 21 AC Prioress Sophique and a 20 AC Sable Knight, both with 3 HP. And that Justinian to help out, just in case. So what do we got here from AJ? What are we going to say? I thought Adarymy was wounded. Looks like AJ took his wound off of Adarymy. I don't know. Maybe we got to see if they recognize that towards the end. But at least I thought it was a wound. Again, I'm talking through here, so maybe I might miss things. I did not rewatch. I did not watch these beforehand, so you're getting like organic commentary here. So we see a couple characters go down thanks to some attacks there from his front rank. Graham's front rank, of course. So AJ's looking around. He's going to go searching, and we can kind of see what's some of these cards that are in his deck. Nothing too crazy that we don't already know about. So he's just going to get things that can strike the most. By getting the same character of Leonara, he is risking that maybe Graham's got another litany, but who knows? And I don't think there's necessarily a better choice at this point. AJ really wants to get a Winter Warfare going and then pressure it. So that turn 1 draw, that could have been really good. AJ could, if Graham doesn't have Premonition in his opening hand, then that essentially could just swing the match. Graham would then have to. Graham had a pretty good hand though with Mass Blessing and Reflect anyway, so he would have had some stability. But if AJ's dice get hot there in a situation where Winter Warfare hits, then Graham's characters are stunning forward and taking wounds, and Adarymy can usually put enough pressure turn 1 to kind of really shut that down. And now we're seeing, the bend but don't break strategy is paying off. Now the Sable Knight's able to attack. The Prior Sophique is able to attack. Queen of Lightning's able to take out some characters. So Graham is now shutting down anything that AJ's going to play, too. Peace, with spending just an end to shut down Spot. Spencer Latham comes in. So AJ's going to keep going. He has to. He has no other option here. But Graham's kind of content. He's like, all right, go ahead. You can swing with that guy. I'll just take a charge on my staff and see how it's going to go. Spencer's always swinging at 2+1s into those 20 ACs, so it's a little tough. 10% chance to hit. So we see Tauto's Aurelian bounce the staff of Kazazi. So there you go. You're going to get more speed, more consistency out of it. Staff getting a charge. Leonardo getting a strike. AJ, again, still just content with, I think he looks at exhaustion and thinks he can't play it, not realizing that you can do that. But I don't know. Is that 2 exhaustions in his hand? I can't really see. AJ's body language is saying scoop. I think he was frustrated by that. So Graham will take game 1 in this set here. So best of 3. 1 more to go. We got about 20. So you got about 20 minutes left in the round 2. So luckily with AJ, he's kind of probably recognizing that he has to scoop now. If he's going to win this matchup, he needs turn 1 Winter Warfare. And if that happens, that game could be 5 minutes. So still plenty of time for AJ to come back here. Graham, on the other hand, is just kind of hoping now. It's like, all right, cool. I got 2 chances to draw a very stally hand. And then if I'm able to do that, I'm able to just kind of stay and kind of go with it. So that's what both players are looking for going into game 2. We don't see AJ changing out any starts yet, and he really should. Lear Militia is a start that's really good against other decks that are being offensive on you, like they're attacking you. So usually with Adarymy, you'd want to see Brother Domini double Spencer, and I think AJ's just probably a little aggravated, probably a little tilted from game 1, and just forgot to change it out, and that's a huge misstep. Because those Lear Militias don't matter right now. Graham getting his dice. Looks like some low rolls. I see a 4 there. And then I see a single digit on the white dice. I think it's a 2. So AJ starting off with a Black Moss. That's a card we haven't pulled up or talked about yet. So I think that's time to get a little graphic break up here. So let's break down what the Black Moss does. Bam! Level 2 classes item. Basically, this character takes a wound, and you choose any character within 1 rank and wound them. So, with that and Lear Militia, you'd get the free wound, and then he'd go searching for a level 1. So, Graham recognizes that, basically saying, all right, well, I'm not going to let you get the free wound, so I'll swing with Dilchan Keeper if it means you're down a card. So, you lose the Black Moss, which, AJ, again, he's trading 1 card in his hand to go get the Brother Domini, which he really wants. He probably should have started it, but he's going to get it this way instead. So it hopefully will work out in the end, but it's still like trading a card in your hand essentially by playing the Black Moss and wasting it when, if timed right, could be absolutely devastating. So a lot of these, Graham's army only has 1 HP for starting. It's when the other guys get in that's the problem. So Graham drops the Litany as an insurance policy just in case. The card that we saw Lear Militia dig out Brother Domini, and then we see Adarymy dig out Spencer with her ability once per turn. And then we see an exhaustion after Ginerva drops a Litany. See, like in real IRL games, they're gonna go a lot faster. A lot of wait, hold on, I had to react to this, but everyone's just trying to move at a faster pace. I feel like and this is something we kind of like talked to like all of us at this event. It almost seems like 45 minutes. It was like a blink and it was over. And it just seemed like it wasn't enough time because we're used to 90-minute rounds in online play, like little extras there just because of how it is to move the interface. But here it's like moving your cards and everything like that. it's traditionally fast. Like Warlord is meant to be 15-minute games, with in most cases on average. So you figure 45 minutes best of 3. But when you're so used to playing with more time, you kind of usually think out moves, take your time to do some kind of sequencing and a few customary things. So you might be playing slower now. AJ has moved. Unfortunately, there's a card all the way on the bottom right. I'm going to see what I can do here, guys. This might look really bad live, and I'm probably going to regret it. But, okay, no, we just see Kun is the only character that we saw. Oh, it's Kun and brother. Okay. So, look at that. How about that for editing effect right there? We see a Mother D in rank 4. She just has a spin react to cancel a strike, so again, more control. And Lord Joxinus is in Graham's deck. Target an item within 2 ranks and discard it. That's in there just to kind of stop cards like Zod, King Zod, who, if you're watching this, you've played Warlord, you probably know who Zod is, and you are very much you understand why, you want that insurance policy. Graham is just an insurance broker right now. That's it. He underwrites. That's what his deck list was. It was underwriting some things. It's like making sure. All right, I need property and casualty. I need life. Look at this. Shout out to any insurers who actually understand what the jokes I'm making. But anyway, let's talk more about Warlord. So AJ seemed to have kind of stalled out here, but he's still got some ready characters. So he's definitely not done for the turn. He just has to be careful. If he's going to pass, he needs to make sure that Graham doesn't be like, all right, yeah, cool, I'm done, and kind of go from there. So Graham still got one more keeper left. AJ's got 3 cards in hand. And we hear them. I know, like, I had the volume down on this game here, but it was really loud, and there was no way in this venue to kind of mitigate sound. And some people just kind of come up and like literally start talking. So it's that kind of relaxed environment, I guess we'll call it. But it was an interesting thing. It took place at Platinum Star Games in Howell, New Jersey. When we arrived there was a sign on the door saying that they were closed due to no heat. No word from us. They never told our team that, hey, maybe your event's canceled because we don't have heat, nor do we have a working bathroom. So it was one of those like, well, what are we going to do? We have people who travel out of state. And Graham, in his case, he came down from Montreal. So he traveled internationally to get here. We can't just forego the event. So what are we going to do here? So after a few scary minutes and a few phone calls, we got somebody to come, and they're like, hey, I'll open for you. It might be a little chilly, and you can't go to the bathroom. But if you guys are okay with that, then we'll roll with it. So that's what we did. Thankfully, there was a Wawa within a short drive that would graciously let any of our players use the bathroom. So it was an interesting experience, not an ideal, but we made it work, and luckily everybody had fun. So we see turn 1 ended. Graham definitely caught AJ passing with Spencer in his hand. Again, Graham knew it because he searched for it. But Graham just held off a few actions while AJ was passing, and was like, okay, well, that's the end of that. And then we see Graham using Justinian to exhaust Kuhn Jakob's react from the Fine Hilted Saber. Let's pull up Fine Hilted Saber just so we can take a look at that and everyone can kind of see. I know I've talked about it a few times right now, but just so you can see, after the react is what Graham exhausted. So after you equip Fine Hilted Saber, get +1 HP end turn. So it makes him a little bit more durable, but the spend order to get 2 strikes is the value here. So by doing that, you open yourself up to be exhausted, which is what happened. And that Brother D took a wound thanks to Ginerva using some of her high rolls. She also still has a 20 sitting there. But Brother D was going to go down, but we see Final Blessing again. Cast from Rosalie, building around your level 2 cleric. It makes sense, as long as that cleric doesn't get shot out. And it's a card that you can play first turn, so Adarymy able to make use out of some of these off-class cards. We see Graham use Dill-Chant Keepers to cancel and mitigate some more strikes. We see Korandrak enter play in rank 4 and then just immediately throw herself to the front, going with stage diving. So Graham is quickly getting... He hasn't lost a single character in his starting army. When you're able to do that against Adarymy, who is one of the most... who puts the most pressure on your ranks probably right now in Ancients, like that's... You're looking pretty good. Usually you as Ginerva, you're hoping that you're able to just calm down, but here it's almost complete control. So Graham very much in the driver's seat here. We see another Lord Jocks. Pretty much incidental. I mean, it's 1 HP, so that'll be about it. Auroch Knights bringing in double Spencers and boosting them up. So they're getting +2 from the Auroch Knights, +2 from Adarymy, and +3 from Brother D, who's still kicking around. So we're seeing some things going here. I know the Litany's gone, and I did not catch what Graham called with that. I'm guessing maybe the Lear Militia, just because that removes strikes. But we see Graham swinging with that last Dill-Chant Keeper, using the 20, or he didn't have to use the 20. He was planning on it. Like, that's the thing with Ginerva's thing. You can wait to see the result and then react. So he naturally just hit that Spencer who was boosted up. AJ went to go Final Blessing it, and Graham had a premonition just to stop it. He's like, I don't have anything else to do with this premonition. I don't have anything else to worry about. Even if AJ were to Winter Warfare at this point, Graham, he would be in a rough spot, but he'd be able to kind of set himself up as long as AJ didn't get like super hot with dice. We see more canceling, more redirection. So here he makes a defense check to redirect it, then tries to cancel it, and Graham is thinking about using Justinian to cancel the strikes. I can't really see the result here. Yeah, Graham's thinking about it because he can double Justinian that result to cancel it. So that's what he was probably thinking. Just, if I use both reacts right now, is it really worth it, or do I save them and just kind of let this guy go? But when AJ hasn't killed anything, you're just like, yeah, let's just make it happen. So more strikes here. These are crucial rolls for AJ, and finally cracks that nut of a front rank. But here's more HP for you. Korandrak basically getting a stun move. Now the keepers are split apart though, so Graham may have made a little oopsie there. And we see him equip Ishadra's Tidal Mace. That's another anti-Uber card. So AJ, he's starting to feel good now. Graham's out of cards. So this is the chance to kind of clean up these little guys, but you're going to actually be able to roll, AJ, if you're going to want to win this one out. But Lear Militias. Okay, so I don't even know what he called with Litany. Maybe it was the turn before and I might have missed it. But either way. Or they just completely forgot about it and he missed anyway. Alrighty. So that's the end of that turn. Brother D goes away due to Final Blessing. Those Justinians are back. Ginerva's going to get some more dice. Mother D is back. And he's getting 5 more cards to just control Adarymy.
Okay. I have an idea. You may know what it is.
AJ saying he held 1 card. Graham's like, yeah, I think I got an idea what that is. So we see Graham get some more dice. I wish it were more visible. I might have to start supplying some very like high visibility dice whenever people roll, but I can see the people who let us kind of watch these games might fight us on that. Everyone's superstitious. I only want to roll my dice. So we saw a leaner there, and then he's going to re-roll it, and now we get a reflect. DC 17, and that is not enough to fail, so it would reduce the wound and kill Kun. Instead, we get a Final Blessing. So he's got to basically get his second strike from the Fine Hilted Saber. Yeah, Graham is getting rid of that guy, even though he forgot about the wound being reduced. So, all right, Graham going to cancel that. Actually, no, he's not going to cancel it. And AJ's throwing his dice way far away. A little strong on the approach there. So Graham reacts just to burn a die, just to make sure it misses. And Delchan Keeper's coming on the offensive. And this is strategic offense, where you're making sure you're not swinging to try and like kill their army and kill their warlord. You're just trying to stop them from doing whatever it is. Your strike takes the opposing strike off the board. And that's all that Graham cares about. Spot trying to take out these keepers. Then AJ whiffing on that. He only has to roll a 8 or better. Oh, I think Graham might have used another die roll with Ginerva. Prioress Sophique is the card that has a bunch of glare over there in the 5th rank for Graham. He puts his characters all the way back there. But he goes, searches for a card, shuffles up, puts it on top. Going to give AJ an option there to cut. AJ's still deep in thought, figuring out what he's going to do. Shuffles it up. And then that card goes on top. There we go. Graham looking at it, making sure as he puts it there. It's like, don't want to make sure you grab the card from your head by accident. AJ's like, you searching around. I'm going to go searching too. Let me get the Brother D. I feel like I'm going to need that here. So that's what we're looking at. Graham drops a piece on Prioress Sophique, so another backup level 5 cleric. And at this point, with the time limit, you're now at around the 40-minute mark, a little over that. This game is essentially now out of reach, or this match, I should say. Graham, at worst, could get a tie, because there's no way AJ can win twice. But he also has enough already where he's definitely going to be able to live for 5 more minutes. So this one is very much looking like Graham's going to take it down, and then we might just kind of go to time. I really wish I knew how much was actually left in this. But I don't have it in front of me. So I'll have to kind of take a look at that. But either way, this is getting slow again. There's a Ryan Mornington as the glare card all the way on the far left for Adarymy. But Adarymy's kind of... I'm hearing people in the background announce time. I think they're saying that you have a few minutes left in the round. So it might have been like 5 minutes left. Corn Track comes in. 3 more HP for him to chew through in that 5 minutes. There we go. Rosalie is giving Ryan Mornington some extra strikes. And Graham responds with piecing him. Saying, no, he's very peaceful. He does not want to be aggressive like that. Leonora comes into play. Gets an extra strike. And then we see the Sadra's Tidal Mace. Ginerva is using that to give Leonora -5, -5, -5 until the end of the turn. So it's basically just making these strikes a lot harder to hit. With a good roll, AJ could still easily hit. But he has not been rolling well at all. So, yikes. How's this video track? Okay. So, there's a lot more of these. I was able to record 1 match per round. Unfortunately, the round 5 one, the camera overheated and turned itself off with a few minutes left. So I don't get the end of there, but I'm going to see what's going on there. I have at least 6 more of these videos coming out. So just kind of be on the lookout for these if you're enjoying this one. And if you guys are enjoying videos like this where I kind of just provide commentary for in real life ones, good news, I'm doing more of them. But definitely let me know what you think of these. Any ways that I can kind of enhance these or anything where you're like, Vac, you go too fast. Slow down. Like anything like that, feel free to leave it in the comments here. Always feel free to reach out. If you don't already know, you can check the description of this video for information on joining our Discord. If you are not a member of the Warlord Discord, this is where we play online events. So you can play, if you're not playing, I know we're watching in-person Warlord, but if you want to play with us online, because, you know, distance exists and, you know, people have obligations and can't always play in real life, we can. So join our Discord, join the conversation, join our community, and come have some fun with us. But also look out for more in-person tournaments. They're now starting to come back. I know here in Jersey, we're getting another one kind of ready in a few months. I think it's in April. So that's what we're kind of looking at there. Starting to work towards that. But otherwise, there's always an online one every month. So just to kind of catch us back up on the game, AJ's still, again, just doing the Adarymy script, playing some characters out. Graham's doing his script, which is playing Malrog's Lair to get a big old dragon in the front rank. But we have under a minute to go, this game will now come to a conclusion. Graham is going to take this 1-0 on time limit. So Graham gets the win. Adarymy goes down and will lose. So it's really like this video is just kind of formality, so talking over it. So take this moment to thank the players, AJ Foster and Graham, 2 members of our online community as well. They made the trip out to Jersey, and then they got to play on camera turn 1. So thank them for letting me watch and commentate on their games. So big shout out to them. And we'll see more of them. A little bit of spoiler action there. And there we go. We see the concession there because of the time limit. So that'll do it. But really appreciate you watching this video. Again, leave any comments, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. And with that, I will see you guys for round 2. Bye-bye.